Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you? Cheers. Mm. Welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm your host, Loren Michaels Harris, and I don't know what spiritual, universal, metaphysical banana peel you slipped on to find your way here, but I'm certainly glad you did. Oh, there it is. That's the bell of purpose. It's new to season 4. I gotta change this. I don't like sitting a little bit. This is new to season 4. What does it mean? It means that, oh my goodness, hold on. You know what? You guys know all week long I've been talking about senior moments and how you really shouldn't judge us older people. I'm 58 because I don't care. I started having senior moments when I was in my 20s, but I called them junior moments. And so let's think about that before you judge. That's all I'm saying. That's the bell of purpose, as I was going to say. Um, this is your chance. This is an opportunity. It really is. It's an opportunity for all of us to be involved in something greater than ourselves. What it means is when our guest says something that's like, oh, clutch the pearls. Ooh, that's a good one. Woo, woo. Or you feel like, oh, can I get an amen up in here? That's when you're going to hear the bell. That's your chance to throw some love on the screen in the form of a heart. Maybe phone a friend, start a watch party, share the broadcast, whatever it is. Do something that is outside of yourself and that is of service to someone else. If we do that, can we agree? Great. There it is, the bell of purpose. So let me really quick tell you guys, last night I had a great show, Bathrobe Moments After Dark, every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Oh, yeah, that's right. It is a shameless plug. And it was great. Last night we had, a Chicagoan who's a kid, a young kid. He's like 23 or 4, Tone Fernandez, and he's building an entrepreneurial resource center for kids in his community. And what a great guy. It was a great show, had a lot of people watching. And next week, I'm so excited. Are you guys ready for this? Next Wednesday night, which will be the 12th, guess who's going to be here? Are you ready? You're going to die when you see this. I can't wait. Do you remember these two? Watch this. Do you remember these two?
Yeah, I guess.
And where did you meet?
We met at bereavement counseling, Simon.
Oh, wow.
He was like totally checking me out.
And then what happened?
Well, we started talking and we got kicked out.
Kicked out for what?
Okay.
They said it wasn't.
Well, there they are. That, of course, is Charlie and Rose Hill from AGT about 4 years ago. And Rose is an Oscar nominated makeup artist in Hollywood. She's a great character. I love her to death. So, Rose and Charlie are going to be here next Wednesday night at 7 p.m. on Bathrobe Moments After Dark. Mark your calendars. And tomorrow, I'm so, earlier in the week, we had Chicago's Love Offering here, a nonprofit taking care of things on the streets of Chicago for the homeless, and just a wonderful, wonderful thing. And so we're going to bookend the week. Tomorrow, we're going to have Project Sebastian here, Project Sebastian. And Sebastian is a 14-year-old kid who suffers from Batten disease. It is a rare, rare disease. It's fatal. It takes the lives of a lot of young people, young kids. And Sebastian and his father are here tomorrow. They even sent me a Project Sebastian mask and some other things. So I'm very humbled and honored to have both of them here tomorrow and hopefully raise some awareness with all of us about this horrible disease. And maybe there's something we can each do make that reality of eradicating it just that, a reality. So tomorrow, be sure you're here and spread the word. But today I have, I could probably count on one hand the amount of people that I've had on the show that I found just not through someone, especially from LinkedIn, because that's where all the smart people live. And hey, I have a LinkedIn. I'm smart. So anyway, yeah, Crystal Bauer, and it's Kristel. She is a physician's assistant, and she started an organization by the name of Live Greatly. Okay, why? Why did she do that when she already had a great job? She did it to inspire others to awaken to their ultimate potential. Crystal, she is a female entrepreneur. She's a mom. She's a wife. She has 2 children. Her youngest is 5, about to go to kindergarten. And she's a keynote speaker, podcast host, sharing a unique and inspiring message to the world. After years of practicing traditional medicine, a loved one's stage 4 cancer diagnosis awakened a burning desire in Crystal to explore and examine what wellness truly means. And as an integrative medicine fellow, physician assistant, and Reiki master, wow, say that 5 times. Um, she founded Live Greatly to share her findings on how best to achieve optimal health in mind, body, and spirit and attain success. All of those things sound like things that we all are in search of. And so I know that she was out front passing out organic vegetables to the neighbors here just a little bit ago. Is she done out there yet? Well, looky, who it is. Hi, Crystal.
Oh, I love that intro. Thank you so much for having me, Loren. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, and we're excited to have you. Now, it's awfully quiet in that room. How did you manage that? I know your 5-year-old is not still sleeping.
They're upstairs. Yeah, they got told to go upstairs and they have the iPad, so we're good.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
how.
Yeah. That's better than your favorite aunt or uncle.
Yeah.
Right. So welcome to the show. Crystal, what's the C on it says PA-C. What's the C?
It just means that I'm certified. So you have to.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So tell people who you are, what you do, where you live. Tell us a little bit about your personal side, and then let's get into what you're doing in the world today to make all these great changes with Live Greatly.
Awesome. I'm excited. So I live in Lake Forest, Illinois. I grew up north side of Chicago in Edgebrook. I don't know. I know you're kind of from the area, but so I'm originally from Illinois. I've stayed in Illinois. And, I went to PA school, which is a master's program at Rosalind Franklin in North Chicago. And I'd always known, I wanted to help people. Like that just was something I was really excited about from a younger age. And so I did traditional medicine for, quite some time. And then I had my kids and I got to stay home for 6 years, which was a blessing. And I experienced that whole life of being a stay-at-home mom. And to be honest, I thought I was probably going to stay home. I kind of lost that spark for medicine. I think I was feeling a little burnt out with it. And I thought, this is probably going to be my thing, just kind of being with my kids. Maybe I'll volunteer, that kind of stuff. And then my mom got diagnosed with cancer, which was totally unexpected.
Oh, that was your mom.
My mom, yeah. And she's doing okay. So she's, thank God.
Stage 4, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And we talk about that because, a lot of people, and you said she's doing fine.
She's doing okay. Yeah, we're rolling with it.
Was it stage 4 when she was diagnosed?
Yeah.
See, I'm just keeping it real because my mom passed away at stage 4. It was like 3 weeks after she told us, gone. So I know, and this is great news because it means that there are people that survive beyond that. Yes. I did not know that because if they had told me yesterday I had stage 4 cancer, you'd probably be on here by yourself because I'd have drove off a cliff or something.
That was one of the things that I guess sparked this in me of like, okay, we've got to do more because when you go online, it's so scary and there's so much fear. And I really didn't resonate with that. And for me, it was one of those things where I don't know, I never really before that felt really spiritual. I did as a kid. And then I kind of lost it. I didn't really have that perspective for a while. I was just, it wasn't really on my radar.
So now I didn't see that coming.
Yeah. And
Okay, go on.
Yeah. So then right before my mom's diagnosis, I started just to kind of get into spirituality. I don't know. And I feel like, honestly, it was kind of the universe, like getting me ready. Like I felt like things had fallen into place before this to put me into the place where I was able to handle it from a place.
Time out. I just got to say, listen, girly, it wasn't kind of getting you ready. Kind of. It did get you ready.
Yeah, true.
It did.
Right.
And I just want to say this because it's interesting to me. I'm sitting here going, oh my God, here is Crystal who practiced traditional medicine, spirituality stepped in and went, hey, you. And then this happened. And I was on a show the other day with, out of California, New Mexico, Jessica Sanchez. She's a doctor, and she
Okay.
gave up practicing medicine to
Mhm.
do Reiki and stuff. And she's a light worker. And I'm like, wow, all these people with these great credentials are. It's almost like there's an awakening.
Yeah.
You see? So what talk about tell me this. What did people in your inner circle, inner sanctum say? And then we're gonna go back to your mom. I want to finish that story.
Yeah.
What did they say when you were like, I don't think I'm gonna do that anymore. I'm spiritual.
Well, what was cool is I decided to do integrative medicine. So for me, it was more about, okay, just that, like, here's your prescription, like that doesn't resonate. And
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of it too was like I felt like there's more to it than just that. There's more than just your body, right?
Yeah.
It's more about your mind and your spirit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that really resonated with me, and so I decided to pursue that path. And
Hey,
that
wait a minute. So your mom gets her diagnosis. Now you're still practicing at the time.
no, I was home. I was stay-at-home
You were
mom.
home. You were home.
Mhm.
So talk about what happened with you and your mom. How did you? Because I know there's something in there. I can feel it.
What was that?
I mean, what did you? How did that experience with your mom during her cancer, right at the onslaught of the cancer diagnosis? You. What did you bring to the table that she didn't expect?
Yeah, well, I kind of was like, okay, I put my medical cap on, right? And that got that spark going again. And so I was doing a lot of research, like where can we go? And got her into Rush. And so, I was there for those appointments. Thank goodness. Like it was a blessing that I'd been home.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like talking about how the universe lines things up, my husband was going through a transition. So he was home able to watch the kids so I could go with her to her appointments, and everything had just kind of lined up at that point in my life. And then I took her to see an integrative medicine doctor through North Shore, Dr.
Mm-hmm.
Mendoza, who's wonderful. And I felt like we were trying to kind of pull all these things together. And I started having her see a woman who practiced Reiki. And then I got trained to practice Reiki from this Native American shaman.
Now tell everybody what that is, because I
Yeah.
can't tell you how many times I've had people that say they practice Reiki, and I don't stop the bus, and I leave, and the audience leaves, and we're like, and what the hell is Reiki again?
Yeah, I
Tell
know.
us what that is.
So, it's really about energy and this idea that everything is energy. So it's kind of a training that you use certain symbols and you're basically trying to harness this positive healing energy for someone. And a lot of it, personally is about the intention. So this training is about really knowing what symbols to use and how these symbols are for different purposes, but it's about really sending good energy and
Sending good energy.
yeah.
So do people around you, how do people respond to that? You don't look like, I mean, I don't see any neon posters on your wall. You don't have any daisies in your hair.
No.
You know what I'm saying? People are always like, when the moon is in the seventh, that
I
kind of thing.
know.
They think you're like all goofy, but you're not. So how is it that you have integrated this into your life, and found acceptance? Is it you just treat every person and every experience as a teaching moment?
It took some time to feel comfortable with it. I was in the beginning coming from, I wasn't raised with people doing this.
Right.
It was like, what? I was raised
Right.
Catholic. Like,
Right.
what's that?
See, they just think you're crazy. If you had a black family, they'd be like, she's worshiping the devil now, right? That's what would happen in our family if somebody showed up with some Reiki.
You're like, you don't understand it. So for me, I think in the beginning, I was a little uncomfortable. And it was a big personal journey for me spiritually with all of this, just learning to be comfortable with who I am, learning to be confident, learning to overcome my fears. So like this whole event with my mom, it really woke me up, and it shifted my perspective on life. And I looked at my life being like, gosh, I have been so afraid for so long of stupid stuff. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so worried about what other people think. So worried about, like, I would have been petrified of, I would have been so scared to do this, Loren, if I was the same person that I was 5 years ago.
Yeah. I
being
know
visible,
that. I know that feeling. I know that feeling.
right? Being
Oh,
seen. And so that just like woke that up in me, like, that's ridiculous. Like we're all here to share our gifts. We're all here to figure out what those gifts are. And it's about allowing yourself to really wake up to that, and then to like have the
giving yourself permission.
yes, give yourself permission to
I
do
hear
that.
that a lot. I hear that a lot. Hey, Crystal. So take us inside of that aha moment for you.
Mhm.
Because something had to have happened. Something undeniable had to have happened. And so, what if there are words? Because not all words have been invented yet. How do you describe when you knew, oh, this is real? What was it? Did you
Yeah.
feel the energy? Did you see it run back? Hey, that was some energy. Did you see that? How did it try to take us there if you
Yeah,
can?
well, I will. So before my mom had gotten diagnosed, I had started seeing like signs. I think I was working out and I saw a sign like try Reiki or something. I was like, what's that?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. And I kept seeing these things. And then finally, before I was like, I'm going to try it. So I went and I had a session done, and they used crystals, and they like had these things like on, I don't know, that was like spinning on my belly. And I could feel like my stomach started like moving. Like I felt the movement when it wasn't touching me. I was like, this is weird. Like it took me totally by surprise. And it just opened up that door of there's more going on than what I can see. Because before
Mm,
I've been really analytical, like, you know,
right. That's the thing. A lot of people, engineers, people in the medicine,
yeah,
scientific thinking.
yes,
And so that's why I find it so interesting when you hear these people. They don't just like throw it to the side like a hobby. They stop doing what they went to school all those years for. And so I'm like, there's really got to be something going on in there.
yeah. So that was for me. It was feeling it, and then that made me so curious because I've always been someone I like to understand. And with medicine, like I like to research. I like to really know what is this all about. So,
Yeah.
and at that point too, like I had mentioned, I had started getting into spirituality, and I had these desires, which really, again, I haven't done the majority of my life, to start reading books from people who've had near-death experiences.
Ooh.
And that was like, again, right before this. So I started to have kind of this like a sense of, wow, again, there's more to life than what I've been thinking. There's more going on than what I can see. And that just opened up a sense of comfort, I think. And I started to meditate. And
Mm-hmm.
the first week I was like, this is weird. Nothing's happening. Like that. And then I had an experience when I was meditating where I really felt connected, for lack of a better word. Like I felt something. And that, again, with these other experiences, for me, it was really feeling it,
Mm.
having that feeling like, wow, this is what people are talking about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
That's exactly it. And in a nutshell, what I always say to people about, because they're like, well, Loren, I loved what you said up there and blah, blah, blah. But how did you know? Aren't you afraid? And this, I was like, no, because now I look at it like this. I seek out the question marks. Look for the question marks because those are the things I don't know. They're outside of my comfort zone. They're outside of my wheelhouse, and they hold the E and the R. If today I feel like, man, things are great. They hold the possibility of tomorrow being greater.
Mm-hmm.
If I feel today I'm smart, they possess the power for me to be tomorrow smarter. So they
Mm-hmm.
hold the ER that we all should be on a quest for. So I get it. The question mark. See, a lot of people, they don't, what's back there? What is it? I'm scared. It's all mindset. And I know that you understand that. And I'm going to show a clip when we come back at the bottom of the hour from our break. I'm going to show a clip of you. And that's one of the first things you said, that it all is attached to mindset.
Yeah.
Now, and let's set that up if we could. Mindset, because that's one of those terms that is just tossed around like an old dishcloth. You
Sure.
know, you know what I'm saying? It's almost like, and you're on LinkedIn, so you could close your eyes and just type just arbitrary letters, and you're gonna get 15 coaches.
Yeah.
Everybody claims it's just like when all of a sudden physical trainers, everybody was a trainer. So, and it's not the truth. It's not accurate. Not everybody is a real trainer. Not everybody is a coach, but they will say it. So, talk about that mindset. What does that truly mean to you?
Right. Well, I think what I realized throughout this whole process is that there's this huge mind-body connection, right? So when you talk about mindset, it's more than just like getting into the mindset to like go after your dreams and like succeed. It's also the mindset of like, how do you feel about yourself? And your health as well. Like your mind is related to your physical body. So how, again, are you having a lot of stress? Are you feeling overwhelmed? Are you really unhappy? Are you unhappy with yourself? Are you unhappy with your life? Because that mindset and that frame of mind is going to affect all aspects of your life. So when people would come in and see me and they come in for a physical problem, you can treat that physical problem, but you're going to have, it's going to be really hard to get truly better for a lot of cases if you don't the mind as well. So that's kind of where I come from with mindset is everything. And for me personally, a lot of us, we all have limiting beliefs, right? And a lot of us pick them up from childhood and throughout our lives. So it's how can you get it to a place where you are supporting yourself and you are allowing yourself to have a mindset for whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, whatever your goals are, but it takes effort. Like, it's not like, I don't think it just comes naturally. At least it didn't come for me. Like, it took some personal
development
and inner work to get to where I am today. And I'm still growing and learning. And
of course. So something like Reiki, how does a person find their way to you for that? I mean, it doesn't seem like I was just passing by your house and something told me to knock on the door. You don't by chance practice Reiki. You know what I mean? Or you say, hey, Carol, why don't you stop by for coffee next week and let's do some Reiki? How do you even introduce the idea to people? Do you see something you say, maybe Reiki can help with that? How does it start?
Yeah, I never practiced Reiki for like clients or anything. It was more something I did for my personal, like wanting to add another layer to what I could do kind of behind the scenes, I guess, for people in my life. So I was practicing clinically where I was seeing patients, and so with this transition, I started working in integrative psychiatry actually, and in functional medicine. So I was seeing a lot of patients who had a lot of profound struggles, and that was just a layer where I felt like I could use it in all aspects of my life, but I wasn't like having people come in and I wasn't doing Reiki on people for like a session.
So is this energy a healing, a calming? What is it? And here's a question from one of our viewers, Christina Cash wants to know, can you do it on dogs?
Yeah, I use it all the time. And it's more just about, I think setting an intention, and it incorporates these symbols that you learn, and you're setting, kind of like creating the space. And that's how my teacher kind of said it to me. Like, think about it if you're going into a room or you're going to a meeting, or like today, for example, you're coming in and you have an idea of what it's going to be like. And you're thinking and you're projecting into the future with what your expectations are. So it's kind of like that with Reiki. Like, you're kind of preparing the space. You're setting the expectation of, you want a peaceful energy, you want uplifting energy, you want healing, whatever it is. So that, I don't know if that helps explain.
It does. You know what? It reminds me in the 80s when all of a sudden I lived out in Hollywood then, and I was in the entertainment business, and a lot of people got into feng shui.
Yeah,
and they were okay. So is it? I mean, and I actually had someone come and do that to my living space, and things changed.
It's interesting, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, things changed. It was like energy level, calmness. I knew at my door, putting the key in. Wait a minute. Something's being barred from going in. Something I was bringing with me. And so I'd sit there out on the front and I'd go until I found it, and I'd say, leave it out, and then go in, and everything was fine. It was really an experience. It was really an experience. So is it similar to something like that, you think?
Yeah, I think it is that idea that everything's energy. So how, the space around you affects you, people around you affect you. I mean, think about if someone's in a bad mood, like you feel it, right? If people, you know, you walk into a room and there's people are tense, you can feel that. I think a lot of us just tune that out. We don't pay attention to that.
Right.
It's on our, you know, radar. But what I've learned is, okay, that's real. You know, at least from my experiences, it's real. So you might as well learn how to work with it.
Oh, good one. Good one. Let me ask you. So the energy and all of these different things, and I know you meditate because you said when we first met this morning, you had just finished doing that. What about, I mean, do you feel, you know, the energy and this, that, and the other, is it all tied to, well, I want to get into holistic when we come back from the break, because I have a feeling you have something to say about that too. But do you feel that Reiki helps keep everything even keel? So let's say if a person is dealing with anxiety, or in my case, ADH, I take something for that. I was always that kid.
Sure.
You know, that was me. And I'm always looking for things that are an option other than a prescription. And do you think that what kind of health issues can Reiki, in your opinion,
right?
Have you heard that Reiki helps with?
This is the thing, Loren. Like when I got trained in Reiki, I was like all about it, right? And now as I've gone further on my journey, I really think it's more about feeling empowered. Like, I don't know if it's necessarily like you're getting trained in Reiki, right? Or if it's your intention, if it's about the intention you have for yourself, the intention that you have for others. I'm not sure. But I think what it comes down to is if you feel empowered by it, if you believe, like if you can feel it, then it's real. So it has more to do, I think, with, again, like that sense of empowerment, that sense of that power of your mind, that if it can give you tools that help you, awesome. Like, and it has for me. I know it's given me tools that I feel empowered. And especially when I wanted to help, you know, my mom, I wanted to help others. Feel like I could give back in a way that really helped me.
Was it intimidating when you set off on this journey? You know, because I always talk myself out of stuff like that. Meditating, yoga. I went to yoga once, and there was only one seat available. Yeah, it was in the front row. And right when I walked in, they were trying to put their leg behind there. I was like, nope, it ain't gonna work. And then I always think later, Loren, why do you always abandon? You jump off the ship before it even leaves the dock. And as I'm getting older, on the 4th of July, I turned 58. I'm hearing something telling me, Loren, to find that some kind of a practice of centering, that it's going to be very important to me in my later seasons. So what do you say about what's the best way for a person to get started? Should I watch YouTube videos, ask a person like you, maybe a book you could suggest? What do you recommend?
Well, this is the thing, right? You told me you have ADHD, right? So it's harder for people who have ADHD to calm and meditate.
Right.
I totally understand that. So, I mean, maybe that's contributed to why it just feels like it doesn't resonate with you. But I think you need to play around with it. And I don't think it's a one size fits all, but I know what some people do who have like a busier mind is guided meditation can be more beneficial, because then you have people telling you, or even doing things like walking meditation. So you're moving, because when you have this energy, it's hard sometimes to just sit, or at least to start with that. So, you know, walking where all you're doing is paying attention to each step, like you're exactly where you need to be. You're not focused on the destination. You're focused on being present. And that's all part of, you know, mindfulness practices. But there's so many ways to do it. Like I struggle with meditating and just focusing on my breath. And that's something a lot of people talk about. But for me, I'm like, I don't like that. Like, it's hard for me.
Interesting.
So, yeah, for me, it's more like I do what feels right. I sit and then I focus on my breath, and I kind of put out to the universe whatever it is I'm asking for, or whatever concerns I have.
Sure.
And then I'm kind of just listening, like what comes to me. It's more about like getting clarity on things and feeling more connected. So it's
There's something we all strive for, feeling more connected.
Yeah.
When we return from our break, everyone, we're going to talk to Crystal, our PA and the owner, founder of Live Greatly. We're going to talk with her about a couple things, holistic, everything. And I want to know how long she meditates every day and how to get started meditating.
Sure.
Is this something that we all need, just like we take our daily vitamin? Is meditation something that we should incorporate? We're going to find out when we come back. And I want you guys to take a close look at one of the spots you're going to see during this break. I want you to really think about helping if you can. There is something I'm going to next week. I'm representing my brand, and I'm also representing the network when I go to Salt Lake City, Utah next Saturday to be a part of a peaceful protest to help bring awareness to trafficking, the pandemic of trafficking. So please pay attention to that and let me know if there's anything that you would like to know more or further regarding how you can be a part of the solution. Be right back.
When I saw you, I would lose control. Made me feel like there was no tomorrow. Should've told you that you're beautiful, but the days pass and now it's so long ago. Did you make it? Did you break free? Did you manage to be who you wanna be? Maybe somewhere you think about me too. I wonder where are you now? Wonder where are you now? Wonder where are you now? Would you know my name? Would you know it? And did you feel the same? Wonder where are you now?
Okay, we're back, and I want to share something with you today, everybody. Welcome back to today's installment of Bathrobe Moment. Hi, Destiny Riri Poole, Christopher Bologna. Christopher is the father of the young man that I told you, Sebastian, that we're going to be having, we're sponsoring tomorrow, our show, Project Sebastian. Christopher, so nice to see you. Gave you guys a great promo at the beginning. I'm going to keep doing it, and I want you guys to join us here tomorrow. Our guest today is Crystal Bauer, the inspiration behind Live Greatly. And I wanted you guys, she's probably changing into some kind of a ball gown or something. I don't know. But anyway, I wanted to show you guys something, a peek inside the world of Crystal. And she's a consummate speaker. And I thought I'd give you an opportunity to experience it for yourself. And then we'll get her back in here. So bear with me. Here we go.
I've seen a lot of people who have had some profound struggles throughout my time practicing in healthcare and even in my personal life. And I started to ask the question, what are we missing? I noticed that people were looking for fulfillment outside of themselves. All of those external validations of your worth, whether it be through getting a raise, whether it be through that amazing vacation or that like on your social media post. Those feel good and they're exciting. However, they are not going to give you that long-lasting happiness and fulfillment that we're all really looking for. We all have limiting beliefs from one place or another. Those limiting beliefs can hold us back from really discovering what our ultimate potential is. No matter what you're trying to achieve, no matter what your goal is, it all starts with one thing, and it's your mindset. Mindset is everything. What you believe leads to what you will become. And we each are the boss of our own lives. We get to choose. When I discovered that fulfillment is an inside job, people who are very successful often talk about sacrifice. And achievement and sacrifice a lot of times can go hand in hand, but there's something wrong here. What a lot of people are sacrificing on their way to success is their well-being. When you sacrifice your well-being, you are not going to have true fulfillment. You can live your life from this place of fear, which is all-consuming, or you can overcome that. And then really anything is possible.
Wow. That was yay.
Oh, thanks, Loren.
How's it feel to see yourself up on the big screen like that?
It gets me emotional, you know?
I know.
It does.
It really does. And
Yeah.
that's I usually I show that kind of clip before I bring the guest in at the top of the hour, but I was instructed by what is greater than me to wait and bring you in on that. So I hope that you receive whatever it was that was meant to come to you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's a little reminder, I think, every night. We feel so small within the big blue marble many times, and we wonder, is anyone really listening? Am I really making a difference? And I loved what you had to say. I'd love for you to address that. What you were saying about sacrifice. Let's talk about that. What people sacrifice, because sacrifice is mandated in everything, right or wrong.
I know. This is something that I really struggle with because I just don't agree with it. I really don't. I think with my training in healthcare, that was stressed. In my master's program, that was stressed. Everyone's freaking out about studying and cramming for exams, and I see so many students who are so anxious, like, it's tough. And then I'd see patients and clients who were so drained and so unhappy. And really, it's like, what are we doing this to ourselves for? Why are we doing this to ourselves? This is ridiculous. Like, there's a better way to go about it. And I think we've just been kind of ingrained that you have to give. And you forget about doing what you love. You forget about taking care of yourself. And it's just one of those things I think a lot of people don't even really know what they're passionate about sometimes. Like, they've forgotten. Like, what do I like to do? Like, if I had a day where I got to choose everything, what would I want to do with it? So,
what would I want to do with it?
Yeah, like lose that like zest and spark when you just start constantly focused on the achievement and, getting to that next stage, the next stage. And then you get it and you're like, oh, you get excited for like, I don't know, an hour. And then it's like, what's next?
Right. And that's a great point. I have found that a lot of people are admitting now, finally, because of no choice in the matter, since the onslaught of the pandemic and the quarantine and whatnot, that a lot of people are realizing that they have a real struggle with spending time, quality time, just standing still, just being peaceful, just being with themselves. A lot of people didn't realize that they did not know what to do with themselves when everything came to a crashing halt. And I remember it was a couple years ago. I started implementing on Wednesdays. I still do it, where when I go anywhere in my vehicle, which is rare nowadays, just to the grocery store, pretty much. But back when things were normal, no radio, no Sirius XM, no audiobooks, no anything. And that meant even if I was on a 3-hour trek to go speak somewhere, I was just completely silent in the car. And you'd be surprised if you do that for just one day. You'd be surprised at how, and it would affect my breathing. My breathing, I would just be silence really is golden.
Yeah.
It really is. And everything, there's so many things tied into breathing, like you said, meditation and this and the other. So, Crystal, what would you say? How tell us, can you give us some tips, some clues, something that we can wrap our minds around or that the audience can take with them as far as how to begin the process of just being present in a calming moment and how important that is to the overall picture?
Right. So something that helps me is recognizing it doesn't have to be a lot of time, because I think sometimes people think meditation, they're like, oh, I need to meditate for like a half an hour. And how am I going to fit that in with everything else I have going on? But it's more about incorporating it into your life. And like you said, like if you are in the car or if you have a couple minutes, you can anchor yourself just by bringing your focus back into your body. So it could be as simple as like, okay, what are the sensations that I have in my hands right now? Putting your attention there, focusing on your breath. And within like a minute, you'll start to feel more relaxed. And our brain, we have different brainwave patterns. When we're go, 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 you get more beta waves. It's a little bit more active. When you calm down, you switch to like alpha waves, and that feels really good.
Okay.
So if you give yourself some time to get into that like shifting brainwave state, you're going to feel better. And what they've seen in research, which is exciting, is they've done MRIs of people's brains before and after MBSR programs. And those are mindfulness-based stress reduction programs, which incorporate meditation and mindfulness practices of coming back to the present moment, body scans. And there were positive changes in the brain after just 8 weeks. So you can have like substantial changes in a pretty short period of time that your perspective and the way you play.
Because so much is going on nowadays, and I really I want everybody here now, the ones that are here live, and those of you who are watching the replay, think about this, because the times that we're living in right now, there's so many spikes in our emotional worlds every day. You and I were talking, Crystal, before the show started, about how like if we had a cold, I had a cold a couple weeks ago, you had a little tickle, and how we automatically go, COVID? You know what I mean? And you start panicking and stuff. And I think now more than ever, it's important that we all have some kind of go-to that we can practice to help bring that down, because you need to have all of your ducks in order. You have to be able now more than ever, in my opinion, to have control of your own. Because when a kid is upset, when your little one is like, his little heart is just broken for like something that to him is the universe. And what a lot of moms or dads will I see them rubbing the child and say, just breathe. It's going to be okay. Just breathe. So you tell them to breathe to calm them down. What are some suggestions for us that because we don't show it outwardly, a lot of us, which is in a way kind of bad too, hiding it, stuffing it down. How do you feel about practicing things, Crystal, to just get it up and out? Like go outside and scream at a tree or something. What do you do?
I work out, I exercise. That's my big outlet. And that is so good for your mood. That was one of the first things I would talk to patients about, in addition to other stuff. But that was like, if you exercise, that can improve your mood. So that's huge for me. But breathing, like you said, Loren, that is really, really important. When we're stressed, we tend to clench. At least I do. I clench. I kind of like hold tight. And you hold your breath. You don't breathe as deeply. So it starts with awareness. Like, oh, I'm doing that again. I'm clenching my shoulder. Oh, okay. And don't judge yourself for it. And I used to do that. I used to judge myself for that. But now I'm like, just be nice to myself. Let's be nice to myself and show myself some love. Like, okay, this is hard or whatever it is. Like, knowledge. Like, this is tough, you know, and allow yourself to move through that emotion without suppressing it and holding on to it. And, you know, I've talked a lot about energy, but I think it's being in control of your energy, not letting everything outside of you dictate how you feel. And right now there's so much information coming in. If you're looking at that all the time, it's going to be hard to stay grounded and stay in a place of optimism. So for me, it's like, okay, I'm going to keep myself grounded and I have the intention for myself. I'm going to be living from a place of love. I'm not going to fall into fear. And if I find my thoughts going to like the what ifs, like, oh yeah, that's what I'm doing. Okay. Let's come back to right now. Coming back to the present moment. I'm looking around myself. Everything's cool. Whatever's going on in the present moment, even if it's a challenge, you can handle it. It's when we start to project out. You can't handle something that hasn't happened. So it's about being present in the moment, anchoring to your breath, coming back to that, again, like sensing feelings in your body. And it doesn't take long. If you are able to just catch yourself, come back. And I'm right now putting together a course that I'm excited about, and it's going to be a 56 day, let me think about that. Yeah, 8-week course. So I'm doing 56 videos where I'm taking people through kind of this journey of optimizing health and well-being, and really trying to share all that I've learned with a daily video for people, because there's so much, you know, there's so many things that people can do, but intention setting, like how do you want to be today when you wake up? Like, are you going to be someone who's reactive to everything, or are you going to set your intention of this is how I want to live, this is how I want to show up in the world, anchoring to your breath, coming back to the present moment, and then exercise, like I said.
You know, it's interesting that you bring that up, because my husband and I were just talking about that. I believe it was day before yesterday, and he said to me, he goes, "Oh yeah, because I had a situation with a client where I was I was really upset, and then I had to go on Jessica Sanchez's show, and then come back to what if I had stayed there, it would have turned out totally different. But because I had something to get away to, and then come back to the situation, when I came back to the situation, it turned out totally different. I was calmer. It was this and the other. And Brian said to me, he goes, honey, he goes, you know, you've done so much work in that area. He says, but you see, the first thing to do is to get away from whatever it is that's spiking everything within you. Step away for a minute, because I had not learned. And my birth mother, God rest her soul, Lucille, she said to me, I think it was the first week that we had known each other. I was 32 years old. And she goes, ooh, boy, you need to learn the difference between reacting and responding. And I was like, what? She was like, why do you think that? You ever heard of a knee-jerk response? No. You hear of a knee-jerk reaction because it doesn't require any thought. She goes, when you respond, it's because you sat back and you thought about something for a while. You let everything come down. You don't make decisions when things are spiking into the red. That's what you don't want to do. And I just wanted to bring that up because, like we said, these days are very trying, and we don't know what's happening from one minute to the next. Now, I will make this recommendation, and I wonder how you guys dealt with it in your house. It's not so important now for us as it was at the beginning of the pandemic. We decided almost immediately to not sit there and watch a lot of news, not to read everything. And so we chose Brian. He would watch the news at 10 o'clock because that's the end of the day. And he'd only watch the first 15 minutes because that's where all the lead stories, the big things are there. And then he'd debrief me the next day over breakfast. He'd say, you know, yep, the numbers are here. This is the state that's leading. Here, this is where we're at here in Illinois. Like, right. And it really helped because I'm one of those deer in the headlight kids.
Yeah, I get it.
You know what I mean? Even though I try to pretend like it's not getting to me and eating me alive, it will. So let's talk about how do you feel? Because I'm interested because of, with your mom and whatnot. I'm so grateful. What a great story that she is doing well now. How do you feel about the holistic approach to all things medical?
I think that personally, I love looking at health again from like the mind, body, spirit. It's not just treating the body. So that's how I view holistic. It's like you're looking at the whole person. So that comes down again to relationships, environment and fulfillment and everything. It's not just, oh, here's my symptom. So that's how I view holistic, and that's how I like to approach everything in my life.
Do you feel like a lot of traditional physicians reach for the prescription pad too soon?
I think it's expected of them. I think it's how a lot of people have been trained, but a lot of it is expectation, and they don't have time. So I'm an integrated medicine fellow through the University of Arizona. Andrew Wiles, like the big name in integrated medicine, and he has a program there. And I'm the only PA. It's the majority are MDs.
Okay.
And a lot of them, they want to have more tools in their toolbox. They felt limited to what they could offer to patients. And then they see some patients who they don't want that prescription. They want to know, what else can I do? So I think there's so many different ways to go about it. And I'm all for like preventative care, and, I'm not against Western medicine at all. I'm about integrating it with other things too. Again, like, optimizing your mind.
Okay. So integrated medicine, give us a couple minutes about that, because we hear that term, and explain what it means to you. I think you were just about to go in there, but I wanted you guys to pay attention. This is what she's talking about.
Yeah, it's just the whole person. So again, like what we were doing with my mom, like, yeah, you're getting your treatment. You've gone through chemo. She's gone through radiation. She's doing all that. She'd have surgery. Do all that, right? But then also let's address the nutrition, like what's going on with your diet. Let's address, then she was doing Reiki. And so you're looking at everything and trying to help support the person however you can. So you're supporting the person spiritually, which I think that's something that isn't there in Western medicine. It's kind of like brushed to the side.
Right.
And mentally, emotionally. And it's really pulling from all these different modalities to try and provide support. And when I was in psychiatry, integrative psychiatry, we would talk a lot about gut health. Like, a lot of people don't know that you're producing a lot of your serotonin in your gut.
My guest yesterday was saying that the gut is another brain.
Yeah, exactly. So it's looking at everything's tied together, like everything is connected. And it's trying to give yourself optimal health by really giving yourself the support that you need. And it's going to be individualized. So it's really looking at the person.
I got a question. When, when we were I went to school with Nellie Olson and Laura Ingalls Wilder. That's how old I am. Back in Walnut Grove. When I was at school, when I was the age of your little ones, I remember learning about the food groups and this, that, and the other. And do you think the day will ever come, especially with a lot of homeschooling and these pods and all this stuff, do you think that will ever happen, where when children are taught about health, that they will also, the whole person, the mind, the body, spirit, will that ever be incorporated, do you think, in just traditional teachings for children?
I hope so. That's something that's important to me. And I know I've given, I was supposed to give a talk about the gut-brain connection actually to Olive Rosalind Franklin the day groups of 50 or more shut down. They'll get on the books. But something that's important to me is educating kids and people about like and teachers, and that it's more than just that mental health is bigger. It's about your lifestyle. It's about your diet. It's about all of it, because I think it's so important that people recognize that.
I agree. So last question, how do you integrate all of this into the lives of your family? Do you feel that you have an obligation as a professional to practice what you preach? It starts at home and then goes to the neighbors and then into the community and then further out into the world, because that's how I feel.
Yeah. I do. Now, this is the thing. I definitely have taken it to the extreme in the past, where you learn this stuff and it's like, oh my gosh, I have to be perfect because this can cause this, so we can't have that. And I took it too far, where I felt too strict, and that doesn't feel good. So I've gotten to the place now where it's more about balance, and it's more about listening to your body, what feels good, personally, we don't buy things that have food coloring in the house. If my kids are out though, fine. You can have it at the party. You can have.
Yeah. Right.
I don't want them to feel limited, but I try and buy.
Gonna run up to your 5-year-old and slap the juice box out of his hand.
Right. Like it's about, I want it to be more lighthearted about it because I don't think it's healthy to be too diligent.
Right. Like a zealot.
Yeah. Like we buy
when we down the right. Okay.
But like here and there, I think life is also about enjoying life. So it's not about being a stickler of like having to check this box off and do this and not do this. I think it's about the big picture.
Yes.
That's how we try and live our lives now. I've gone through the extreme, and I know a lot of people do, but I personally, for me, for my life, for my family, that's not how I want to live. I want to be more about moderation.
Well, Crystal, my goodness, I feel like Speedy Gonzalez was in the room with us. We just made it around this lap called an hour so quickly. And we could go on and on and on, but unfortunately, there's another show after us. I want to give you what I call the turnstile invitation, which means you're welcome back anytime. Just let me know and we'll get you back. I have really loved it. For all of you who want to continue this dialogue with Crystal Bauer, on your screen, you'll see the connection to her website, livegreatly.com or .co. Get over and check out what she's doing. She's got the 8-week program coming up and a bunch of other great things if you just go and check it out. Mind, body, spirit, soul, all of it, all inclusive. Treat yourself great, not just on the outside, but on the inside. And remember, there's a lot of things we can't see. And in my opinion, those are the best things of all. Crystal, I want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And you're welcome back anytime. And if you have any friends or people that you deal with in your line of work that have a great attitude and are as half as smart as you are, send them our way. We'd love to have them here on
Thank you so much, Loren. This has been so much fun. I absolutely love your show. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. I hope to see you come back and watch us sometime.
Awesome. Thanks, Loren.
Okay. Have a blessed day and continue what you're doing. Thank you. Everybody, please be safe out there. And I'm going to leave Crystal's connector up on the screen for you. Please use it. And I'll see you here tomorrow when we're going to be celebrating Project Sebastian and seeing what we can all do to bring awareness to patent disease. I'll see you tomorrow right here on our next episode of Bathrobe.